Alright, and welcome to another StarCraft 2 ladder game. It's another submitted game that someone submitted from a Reddit post. So please keep submitting those. But today our hero is a blue Protoss. In the top right-hand corner of Stasis, it's Zepk. And his opponent, the red Terran, it's Dusk. Of course, in the top left-hand corner, because Stasis does have the same spawning side on the map. So we get the, well, straight into barracks. No gas first, so probably not a mech play out of Dusk. And on the other side, it's the gate in the back there to stop those Reapers from running around. We do have a couple replays from Zepk today. I think 3 total. This is one Terran game, and then a couple PvPs after that. So it should be exciting. So this one was a bit of a longer one, I believe. This is about Diamond MMR, as both those scouting probes and SCV saw each other on the way over. Yeah, should Diamond MMR. I believe Zepk is a little higher than that now, after the recording of these replays. As we'll see what's first out of this barracks. Not building anything yet. This probe continues to harass. We'll either Reaper first, a little delayed, but not too much so. Zepk throwing down his expansion, and Dusk about to do the same once he picks up those minerals he needs. As the Cyber Core does go down at home, second pylon, and the second gas, of course. As the probe and SCVs continue their battle across the map here. Of course, the probe does regen its shields. The SCV wins a straight-up fight, but if the probe continues to kite, get more health back from those shields, he can win over the course of a few minutes. But the Reaper going to come in here and ensure that doesn't happen. As it heads out across the map, one SCV left all alone. Down at the middle here, as the Cyber Core does finish up, will be the Stalker first to try and defend this Reaper, as that expansion is about to finish as well. Reaper just taking a quick break before he runs into the main base. Home, we do have the factory going up. And it looks like a reactor on the barracks as well. As the Reaper throws down the grenade, but that's not going to be enough. I think the Stalker might just get one more shot, and the Reaper will go down. Bit of a missed micro there from Dusk, and does get the scouting information, but not really that much yet. So the Robo is going to be the first thing built here for Zepk. As the orbital is going to go down at the expansion here. There's a couple Marines come out, a bunker being placed here. Reactor is on that barracks. We'll see if that's swapped over. Second barracks being added on, so it probably won't be. Looks like it's definitely going to be a bio play here. Perhaps a 2-base timing with a couple barracks. Get that medevac down with maybe some cyclones or some other tech options out of that factory, but we'll see what he goes for. On the other side, both players trying to saturate that expansion. Looks like it's going to be a Sentry to follow up that initial Stalker here. Another Gateway, and the Robo now producing an Observer, as we do have a Twilight Council in the back as well. Warp Gate about 2/3 of the way done. Some Marauders coming out as well. And Stim is started up now along with a Starport. So it does look like it'll be a bio play and a potential attack here off this second base. As the bunker is finished up, and Dash just worried about any potential follow-ups here. Doesn't have a ton of information here, so he could be really worried about the potential for, you know, an Oracle getting there on the natural here. As the Starport and Factory's going to lift here. This is the Factory is going to give over that reactor to the Starport. It looks like we're going to get a production of 2 medevacs out of this. Some Marines being made out of these barracks, and looks like, nope, going to be another Marine out of this tech lab. Not going to invest in another Marauder. Here, a Stim is a little bit under halfway done. A little supply block there for Dusk, but overcame it nonetheless. Here, as we do have quite a few Stalkers and a Sentry hanging out at the natural for Zepk. So not too much action yet. Both players just macroing up here, as Zepk did send in an hallucination, but it was quickly repelled. Observer going to spot out these Marines rallying towards the front of the natural here. So the potential for an attack is known. No information on the other side, though, for Dusk, really. Does not have too much information right now to work on. As the third base will be started here for Zepk at the 5.5 minute mark, which is a pretty big commitment here, especially seeing all this bio being rallied out. It's a very, very scary army right now. Looking at the units, there's quite a few Marines here, a couple Marauders, 7 Stalkers, and a Sentry to defend right now. The scan comes in, we'll spot that Observer. The worker lead has been taken for Zepk. So if this game goes too long, or if Dusk does not get any damage off this drop, he's going to be in real trouble here. The up stim is available. And Warp Gate, of course, finished quite a while ago, but those are the really only upgrades right now. As Blink is going to be available here for Zepk in a moment. Going to be enabling those Stalkers for a little bit more micro here. Some AoEs have been added on, along with the double forge here. So Zepk really committing to this long game, as the medevacs do fly away. Third almost done here for Zepk, and he's got a 3 worker lead right now. So once he adds on that third nexus, they'll be able to really just pump out those workers and take a huge lead. The other side, an Observer is spotting some more of these buy units hanging out here, but this double drop really hasn't got anything yet. He's going to try a different angle and go in through this airspace near the third base, but they should be spotted out way earlier because this third is up now. The other side, though, a Liberator has set up on the high ground here in this little neutral airspace. Stalkers get quite a bit of damage down. On the other side, though, we do have a drop here into the third base. Many workers going down already. 2 medevacs would be hard to stop here, but the Colossi does come out. And that will force the drop back into the medevacs, but they're working their way into main, though. Oh, good blink forward. We'll pick off one of the medevacs, but there's still one available here with the Marauder and 6 Marines in it. Worker's going to have to be pulled again. Here, the stim comes in. Quite a few workers get away, but several go down here. Extended Thermo Lance here, giving you research. Should finish up before this building is destroyed. It's going to be close, but it will finish up, so that's a big upgrade. On the side, the charge is being researched here, but it looks like this drop will be cleaned up here. Quite a few worker kills, and I think the medevac will go down. Yep. We'll go down in the end here. The Liberator are still hanging out on the other side. And they're going to siege up again here. The blink in will take 1 down, and the second one should go down as well. Tries to unsiege, but a very good awareness there from Zepk. Will get the blink in, killing the medevac and those Liberators on the other side. So very, very nice play from him there, holding that drop very well. And he's got this third base up and running. Did lose quite a few workers here, down 7 workers now, but with those 3 Nexuses and Chrono Boost, you should be able to get those up pretty easily. The third command center is going to go down here at the third base, along with some units to defend here. He's got quite a lot of bio here. Not too many upgrades here. He does have the +1 armor, waiting for that +1 weapons, but his upgrades are quite slow here for Dusk, so that is a big weakness here. On the other side, there's double forge, and charge and blink have been completed here. 1-1's about to finish here for Zepk as well, so I think he's sitting in a pretty good spot. Templar Archive's going to go down as well, so his tech is really good right now. His army's pretty even. He's got, probably in a moment, he'll have more workers and more upgrades, so this is a really good spot for him to be in here. Definitely head, I would say, right now. Just got to make sure he doesn't walk into those siege tanks. Siege tanks are pretty good against those blink stalkers, unless you can find a high ground angle and blink down onto those siege tanks without being spotted. There he goes, up taking the worker lead now. Just 3 workers up. Oh, nope. Dusk catches right back up, but with that Chrono Boost, he should be able to get ahead if he doesn't want to invest in that, unless he wants to invest more in getting his upgrades out. As 2-2 is started and about a quarter of the way done here. And it looks like it's going to be a couple more reservists out of this Robo. Did commit to extend Thermal Lance here. He's only got a couple Colossi here, as his Templars are getting energy on the other side with those Storms available in just a moment once that upgrade finishes. But you want to get those out early before the upgrade finishes so they can gather the energy they need. 4th base here, about halfway done. A Marine will spot this. On the other side, there's no 4th base available for Dusk. As this Marine, well, it'll be cleaned up eventually. But it's stimming forward trying to get this worker. but it will meet its doom very quickly here. Both players playing very, very passive, as Hallucination will go out from Zepk to get some information here. Zepk has been a bit better about scouting and searching for the tech of his opponent. Dusk has been pretty lax on that scouting and keeping track of everything here, which could bite him in the butt in the end if he doesn't realize Storm is done at some point, and he just walks right into all those High Templar. Hallucination will go down, but he does get a spot on the army. No information on the tech on the other side here, as the army is researching some upgrades here for those siege tanks. A couple Vikings being made at a time. As we see, all 3 bases are saturated, but it's 4 base to 3 base right now, and Zepk is not ahead in workers. Dusk actually is, but once he gets that 4th Nexus up, he'll certainly be ahead in workers if he's constantly making those. But both players just sitting back waiting for this late game. No one really committing to much of anything here. Both players have very large armies but aren't taking fights here. So Observer will go across the map and try and get a spot on this army, or at least see it moving out at some point. Stasis is kind of a funny map in that the main pathway is a major choke point. So moving your army out through there is a little risky. A bit more room on the high ground over here, especially near this watchtower here. Stalker is spotting right now. Zepk is ahead quite a bit in upgrades. 3-3 hasn't started yet, but he does have 2-2, and it's just the 1-1 of Dusk here as he starts to move his army out. He's moving over into this bottom corner here as he's trying to get his 4th base up and running. The orbital going to be going down. Oh. Zepk on the other side isn't making workers constantly, so his worker count is still below that of Dusk, but he does have the 4th base already up. Looks like this army will continue to move forward here. The scan goes down to try and see anything. Doesn't spot anything, doesn't see a gold base, so he should feel safe to move in for the time being. Zepk has moved his army across here. The scan will come in, spot 2 observers, picks up both of those. Storms is ready, I believe. Yep, will be there. Extended Thermal Lance is there as well. So Colossi and High Templar are very good against Byless. Charge Lots should be able to get onto those tanks and deny those as well. So Zepk has a very good army here to combat Dusks. Charge Loot in here. Storms. Well, the second one is pretty good. The third one good as well. Siege tanks in the back, though, are doing a lot of damage. Stalker's moving forward. So you got the Liberators sieging up in the back. Those are going down pretty fast, though. The Stalkers do get blink in. The Colossi are very low, getting targeted down by these Vikings. Now the Stalkers do come back, are able to pick up the Vikings and save the rest of the army here. Zepk wins that fight pretty convincingly. Just a couple Vikings left as a huge warp and Zealots comes in here, and Zepk has taken a very dominating lead in this game here. Down in workers, but his army supply is looking pretty good here. As after he gets this next warp in, he'll probably be very ahead. On the backside, though, Dusk does have quite a few more units being rallied out here to protect the rest of his bases. That was a pretty disastrous attack from him, throwing away a lot of units there. Zepk now going to move forward here. Those Templar are a little bit slow, but many storms available for them. Full energy on a lot of them. As this main force moves forward here. The Colossi were badly bruised after that fight and lost quite a few of them here. 2-2 did finish up for Dusk in the meantime. So it is 2-2 to 2-2. Plus a mech upgrade. Zelt will get out here. It's pretty hard to run into those Liberators sieged up, as well as those siege tanks. Basically a no man's land here. But he does have the high ground, does Zepk, so he's got a pretty good opening here. He's going to move on to the 4th base. It is a planetary, not an orbital. And the repairs are going to come in here, but that's quite a bit of damage. The Liberators will move over. The storm used on the workers here to try and clean those out so we can finish off this planetary. Good storm on the bio as well. The Stalkers are moving in to counter these Vikings and Liberators. The blink forward will catch up one Liberator here, and the Templar moving forward, trying to find some storms. 2-3 hit. Needs another to clean it up. And, well, the last couple do a good job as well here. One siege tank is moving forward unsieged, and that will clean up that last fight, but a big takedown gets that 4th base, will allow Zepk to take a convincing worker lead. 10 workers now in his favor. 3-3 still not started. Almost forgetting about those upgrades here as the Warp Prism does sit at home. Another Robo Bay being added on. So Zepk is in a pretty commanding lead as he does pick up a Liberator there. These Blink Stalkers aren't super useful though anymore with these siege tanks being so prevalent here. The gold base is going to be added on as a 5th for Zepk. As the fourth did get saturated. He's got to move to another one. The other side. A couple Colossi being made here. Liberator going to pick off some workers here. A couple Archons were morphed in after those High Templar did run out of all their energy here. It looks like they'll be able to just run in and shut down that Liberator. Gold base being taken as well for Dusk on the other side. Was able to make another command center. So he's actually back up to all the bases he needs. Gonna match Zepk on 5 bases again. He's adding on a couple gases here. Zepk has a huge bank of gas right now, and he's got a bunch of High Templars with Storm again. A bunch of Archons, and now a single Colossi. Probably waiting for a few more to come out, but again, his upgrades haven't been started. He's just completely forgotten about the third attack upgrade, it looks like. Does have the third armor upgrade, but attack's pretty good with Archons. They benefit greatly from that upgrade here. Looks like Zep is going to move out, though, as his gold base does finish. And it's quite an army here. No sentries here for Guardian Shield or Force Shields or any of those abilities. But Storm is huge against Bio. Looks like he's going to move in here, spot the gold base most likely. He's going to move right past it here. Does see the Liberators all sieged up, so it looks like... Nope, he will go in for the attack here. He's got to pick off these Liberators first, along with these siege tanks. The Bio is out of position here, so Zepk has a big opening. The Planetary will fall, and now the siege tank on the high ground will fall as well. On the low ground, though, the Liberators are able to siege up and give vision to those siege tanks on the low ground. So it looks like Zepk is going to have to find another route in. Scan goes down and keep track of the army here, but that's another base taken down for Zepk. Does have a warp in from this warp prism in the corner here. We'll go for the Blink Stalkers. We didn't find that right blink, though. They are pretty powerful, but you've got to find the right blink, otherwise they're pretty useless units, because they can just get picked off by those siege tanks. Pretty good spread of siege tanks here. They all are able to spot this little choke point here that Zep has to walk through, but one is exposed on the side. So that siege tanks do need to be in the general vicinity of each other to be very effective with that shelling of theirs. Again, the worker count still in favor of Zepk. But 3-3, I believe, is finished here for Dusk, or will be momentarily. A couple ghosts moving forward here. Looks like they're going to pick off an Archon along with a charge lot. The Storm going to go down here. No detection available. It does not have an observer. So Dusk is able to move forward. But now, oh, the ghosts do uncloak and will go down almost immediately here. The blink forward will pick him off. Another base being taken in the corner here for Zep. That will be his 6th base, so that will give him another one ahead of Dusk. Scan going down, does miss the army. I believe sees the leg of a Stalker, so maybe he does have information that there's a unit there. A couple of Cyclones have joined the army here with the Liberators, Medivacs, and Siege Tanks. And of course, all that bile, the Marines and Marauders. Dusk, another scan goes down, does see the pylon, so he should know there's a base there on the gold. A single Hellion also joined. A couple ghosts in the back here, and Zepk has just completely let the army of Dusk run by him. He's completely out of position now. Both players have quite a big bank here, so both players should be able to remax pretty easily, and now this is spotted, so Zepk's going to have to move right back into position here. The scan did go down and saw this base. His Liberators are going to siege up, but I don't think that's exactly the area you want. Siege tanks are going to siege as well. And they will be able to get quite a few shots off here. Colossi is able to get in range of that extended thermal lance. Lots of storms in the back line here. The Bio able to set up a nice concave and get a lot of damage off here, but the storms do land quite a bit of damage there. Dusk in the back, Ghost in the back line along with a siege tank. A couple Dark Templar are here as well to try and clean up that Ghost. They will, but it looks like Dusk has won the fight. If he can get the scan down and find these Dark Templar, that should be an easy win for him, but Dark Templar are going to pick up one siege tank as this base in the 6th base in the corner here will go down. So a big pick off here for Dusk, a win he probably shouldn't have gotten there. Zep just in the wrong place. The 4th base was picked off as well here, as the rest of the bio is going to be cleaned up. Another warp in here of Stalkers will come in, and looks like these Medivacs will go down as well. But a pretty big pickup for Dusk. Zep and Dusk just trading bases right now. Trading each other's economies. Yep. Oh! Will the Medivac get out of there? No, the Stalkers will not find it. The gold base being real built here for Dusk, and he's trying to saturate this other base on the side that did go down earlier and was replaced here. So the SCVs are doing some long distance mining here of this gold mineral patch, along with some probes on the other side as well, as 2 Nexuses do get rebuilt. Completely out of minerals in the natural and in the main is Dusk, and the same situation here for Zep. He's got a little bit more in the natural, but out of gas there. Some Colossi here sitting as well. Those units are pretty imperative in these later game team fights, but those Vikings have been countering them for the majority of the game here, and they've had really a tough time finding footholds. Stalkers were invested in for Zepk to try and deny that, but those Stalkers get picked off by the siege tanks, so they can't really deal with the Vikings very well. A couple missed turrets being added on, along with some ghosts, so some tech up from Dusk. Hasn't moved his army to completely to Ghost. Is still sitting on the majority of Marine Marauder bio here. Both players playing this game very slow here, just massing and going for attacks for the most part. It looks like another attack's going to come in here from Zepk. Another planetary for him to destroy, and it will go down here. No repair coming in. The SCVs are going to try and make their way out, and many will go down here. Again, the bio trying to hold this choke point. Along with some siege tanks in the back here. Raven also added on. An observer here for detection as well. So Zepk won't get caught with his pants down, but he's got a lot of High Templar coming in here. And all of them with Storm available. Just something of note here. Again, these late game team fights, you definitely need those Colossi. You need that AoE with the High Templars and Colossi. You need Orbital force the lift here because the Dark Templar on the other side. Orbital will survive, and these Dark Templar will not. But forcing that lift so it can't produce anything, can't really be used, is quite nice. War Prism has been added onto the army to try and bring in some reinforcements here, and it will do so. More Blink Stalkers here for Zepk. He's got pretty big bank of minerals. Some charge lots maybe in the future as well, as those are needed to get rid of those siege tanks in the back line. Ravens are going to move forward here, a little bit of opposition, but the anti-armor missile will land. But Zepk just has to stay back here until this expires. It's, you know, some energy used from the Raven here, so Dusk probably should have saved that for a major fight. Again, these bases for Zepk are up and running. This fourth base doesn't really have many workers on it, but the gold base does, and the base in the corner is completely saturated as well here, as Zepk is just waiting for his opportunity. More scans being used to keep track of him. Bio moving out on the flank here. At least a small portion of it. As the Liberators and siege tanks are remaining near the third base. Try and defend that. Everybody's going to move over here to the fourth to try and protect that as well, but the fifth is forced to lift. And with these Blink Stalkers, the one will surely go down. And there it goes, engulfed in flames once again. Neither side of Liberator is trying to come in here for some economic damage, take out some workers on the gold base. A couple of observers sitting there will spot that. Neither side, the main armies are fighting here. Some Marine and Marauder are charging forward valiantly, will not find any damage. Storm's going to have to be massive here. Can he go forward? But the Colossi seem to be enough, taking out this bio here. But now he's got to focus on the Liberator and siege tanks. The High Templar are moving to the other side. So they're going to pull back here for now, as Zepk is going to be forced back. SV being pulled to help the fight as well. And Marauder caught in this medevac. These Liberators are super low though, so a blink forward could pick them off. Colossi are available, another warp and a Stalkers. As both armies are rather large here. Not a ton of production from either side. And now the Liberators are moving forward aggressively, trying to take out these Colossi. Stalkers also moving forward, but we're forced back again. So Zepk continuing to probe forward, not finding anything. More Stalkers going to be warped in here. Really no charge lots on the table, and those are really needed against those siege tanks, but Zepk is opting for the Stalkers to try and deal with the air game because he hasn't invested in a Stargate of his own. Of course, you do have to deal with those Liberators at some point as they continue to move forward. Raven's still available here. They got plenty of energy for an anti-armor missile. Any of the other abilities? But the armor missile is super effective in these late game speed fights. One will land, hits most of the army, so Zepk will have to move away. These Hard Templar are still full energy here, so both sides with their abilities available. Zepk going to pick off a little bit of bio here, and one of his Stalkers will... Nope, it'll not fall, and he'll be able to get out of there. 24 minutes now we have crested. And both players locked in a stalemate here. Zepk with a much bigger bank here. Dusk has basically no resources. As now we get the warp into chargers, and this could be enough here. If Zepk can destroy those siege tanks in the back with those charge lots and use the Blink Stalkers to pick up the Liberators, this could be a huge win for him. Charge lots are going forward now, but without the rest of the army here, they walk right into the Liberators and go down. The Concussor Shell slowing them down. The charge will come in, but that's not exactly what you wanted to do with those units. You need to go in with a full commitment, maybe have them flank around the other side on the low ground here. Anti-armor is going to be used again. Some auto turrets going to be placed down, but The Raven goes down for basically nothing. Definitely not worth that. Dusk has done this a couple times where he just moves forward the Raven to find the anti-armor missile, and there's no follow-up after that. Zepk will try to flank now, going around the side where the Liberators are not, but they're going to move forward here and try and move onto the base here. Now Zepk got out of position again here. Might lose this gold base. Not a ton of mining going on at that base, but still a base he doesn't want to lose. And it looks like the Wolfism will be picked off here. Now Zepk out of position again. Could set for a good flank here, though. The siege tanks are on siege. We'll siege up now. Liberators trying to get in position as well. And looks like the bio will be kited back here. Zepk will pick off most of the bio units on the other side. Now moves into Liberators. Big blink forward. We'll pick off one Liberator. Moves back down before committing to more. High Templar. Oh, no, the High Templar! Ooh, a few will go down. A bit of a miss micro there from Zepk, and that's huge. On the other side, the Nexus will be taken down. The Raven and some of the bio. They'll take it down. The Observer will fall as well. Many Observers lost here. There's a Stargate available, but no units being produced from Zepk. On the other side, he's going to go forward, picks off one base. And, well, this is a little bit dicey here. Charge us being warped in on the defensive to try and deal with this bio here. And Zepk looks to be in a pretty good position here. He's able to defend at home and getting a lot of damage done on the other side. He needs to commit to killing the production. If he can kill the production, that'd be huge. In the middle, though, Zepk has expanded, and a base in the corner here, unspotted by Zepk for Dusk. But same thing on the other side for Zepk. He's got mining on that other base, fully saturated. Now the Raven coming back home for anti-armaments. Hits a bunch of the units here. So many down, but still the Templar have Storm, and Colossi going to work here, destroying that bio. Dusk just not able to stand up in a true full fight against Zepk's army, and that will mean that Zepk takes the game.